Is Khamzat beatable? 100%. You're competing at the highest level of MMA. There's no way you can get into that octagon thinking your opponent stands no chance of winning. They all do. But how big is that chance if he's going up against Dricus du Plessis? Here's how we have to evaluate this. Dricus has 8 fights in the UFC. Out of those 8, only 2 of those guys were competent grapplers, that being Derek Brunson and Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker is a hybrid fighter. He's a well-rounded fighter, but his grappling is not that good. His striking is what sets him apart from the rest of the division. Derek Brunson, on the other hand, is an Olympic silver medalist, but he's also washed up. So I don't think we can compare him to someone like Khamzat. Dricus has never faced anyone like Khamzat, and most probably never will face anyone like Khamzat. So I don't see him coming out victorious in this fight. Why? It's because he's been taken down by guys like Darren Till, Robert Whitaker, Derek Brunson. I'm not trying to say those guys aren't good fighters. Heck, Robert Whitaker is arguably the third greatest middleweight of all time, but his grappling is not just at that level that Khamzat's at. So I don't think Dricus is going to be able to defend the takedowns in the first round. I think what's going to happen is Khamzat will take him down in the first round, have his way with him. Maybe he won't win that round, but in the second round, I don't see Dricus going past that. But I'm fully aware that this is middleweight, this is not welterweight, and most of Khamzat's fights were at welterweight. And he was a bit of a weight bully there, hence him having to move up to middleweight. He couldn't make weight anymore, he had some health issues, so now he fights at middleweight. But we saw just how strong he is, even at middleweight. It's not just a question of his genetics. Of course, he has good genetics. You can't carry a man halfway across the cage without good genetics. But I think it's just his wrestling. And when you look at Khamzat's accolades, he shouldn't be performing as good as he is in the UFC when it comes to his wrestling. Someone like Daniel Cormier placed 4th in the Olympics. Bo Nickel didn't qualify for the Olympics, but he did compete internationally. Khamzat, on the other hand, his biggest achievement is being a 3-time Swedish champion. But somehow his wrestling translated well into the UFC, better than his counterparts, despite coming from the same background, or at least same style. Khamzat is a freestyle wrestler, and the same goes for Bo Nickel and Daniel Cormier. And his MMA wrestling is just too much for pretty much anyone. The only fighter that's been able to have some success against Khamzat's wrestling is Kamaru Usman. Some people might make an argument for Gilbert Burns, but if you watch the fight, you'll notice that his coaches were telling him not to stand and bang, but he didn't listen. So that was low IQ, and that produced the result we saw that night. Kamaru Usman, on the other hand, had genuine success. Khamzat tried to take him down in the first round, eventually did, but didn't really do that much damage. And we saw on the UFC stats, Khamzat landed 38 strikes, whereas Kamaru landed 36. So most of the strikes Khamzat landed in the first round were insignificant, despite being so many. Well, will Dricus be able to replicate that same success Kamaru Usman had? I don't think so, because Kamaru Usman is a Division II wrestler with numerous accolades. Dricus, on the other hand, only has a kickboxing background. He has never competed in any international, let alone national wrestling events of any significance. So, in the grappling department, it's pretty clear who has the advantage, Khamzat. Whereas striking, Dricus is a better striker than Khamzat. He may not look pretty, but he's just way more powerful. He's way more efficient. He may not be pretty, but he is efficient. And we've seen he knocked out Robert Whitaker. If Khamzat stood with Robert Whitaker, he probably would have got knocked out. Whereas Dricus, on the other hand, yeah, he's just built different, man. Great genetics. He's blessed with this power from who knows where. I guess it's from God. So I think Khamzat is not going to stand and bang with someone like Dricus. He's going to take him down in the first round, probably submit him, if not ground and pound him, or second round, same result. So you guys tell me what you think.